This is Rydo, and we're back to MTG Arena. Today is Monday, December the 2nd. So, Black Friday, and today is Cyber Monday. Black Friday happened, today is Cyber Monday. It exposed an issue with my network that because I run kind of high security and I encrypt all the domain name searches, that's when you type in www.google.com into a browser, that has to go to a server that you've already pre-configured, or more than likely your ISP is pre-configured to tell you that google.com equals some IP address number, now probably an IP6 address, but maybe still an IP version 4 address set of numbers. So what that causes normally is the ability for your ISP to have a man-in-the-middle snooping attack where it can see where you're going as far as websites by the domain name lookup. So by adding the encryption there, you add a level of security. Unfortunately, the setup that was kind of experimental worked for almost a year without problems, but as soon as it started running into a lot of congestion, it ran into a problem, and I had only configured it to use Cloudflare's DNS servers and nobody else's, when I really needed 3 or 4 different separate companies' DNS services just in case one went down. And it wasn't fully down, but it was certainly down enough that we were running into problems connecting. I don't think we're going to run into too many problems connecting now, but there is more work that I need to do on that aspect. You don't probably need to even set up DNS over TLS, which is what I was using and describing, because now they have DNS over HTTPS, which is becoming more favored, and so I just need to update my router and reconfigure things, and I'll have to do that later, but it's working now. But the vast majority of that really is just because there was a bunch of people online browsing. But I did manage to play off screen during the weekend, so we do have another mastery orb here. So we are with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on this. So I think this is the next one to get here. Yep. It becomes less and less likely that we'll miss something here. I think we'll get all these skins for whatever they're really worth. I have 6 ton of Eldraine cards just from playing over the weekend and going up levels, which is nice, certainly. More cards, particularly these War of the Spark cards, or older cards, so I'm getting a little
this look easy.
backdoor stuff. There's a Planeswalker. A lot of backdoor entries into having other expansions. Some Chinese IP address was actually found some way to try and connect to my router, so they were trying to hack in. I had not set up my firewall apparently acceptable enough that they found some way to bounce, and I wish I better understood this. They found some way to bounce a SSH connection, which is a way of connecting to the router, basically through text. They found a way to bounce that from outside my network into my network, and then try and actually connect to the router. Good news is password work. Like, they for what seems to be the case, no, as far as I can tell, nobody ever actually got inside my router, but they did expose that someone was trying, and so I improved my firewall set up and made a special list of blocking any access to the router from the outside via HTTP or Telnet or SSH or secure HTTPS, which are the 4 ways you would be able to access and modify the configuration. More than likely they were trying to take control of my router to use it as a vector point to help them run a denial of service attack, or perhaps as a vector point to install, do a man-in-the-middle injection of some malware. And I seriously doubt they were specifically targeting me. I imagine they just were going through every single IP address. Now, the fact that I noticed this is kind of surprising, because I could have easily never noticed it. And honestly, the way I have the firewall set up probably would have stopped them from ever being able to guess the password, because it slows down. It was slowing down the remote connections through that. Allegedly, at least, it was doing that. So that they were only being able to try once or twice a minute, hardly a brute force attempt that would take a reasonable amount of time. But it probably does indicate that other people are getting hacked and they don't know it. And we certainly see this with major companies too. They come back 2 years later. Oh, we were hacked 2 years ago. We just found out now. Let's see. Ranked draft Ravnica Alliance here would be Ravnica Allegiance. Yeah, that's what it says, not Alliance. Alright, so I don't want to really do that. It's a new month, and I've been playing ranked, so I'm already up to Silver Tier 3, and we need to play some rank by this month, but it would either be playing Throne of Eldraine, which would cost 5,000 gold, and throw me more Throne of Eldraine cards, or it would be waiting till this month happened that the Omniscience draft happened, which I probably should play the Omniscience draft and just play that one and try and save up this gold. This 35,000 gold seems like a lot, but it really isn't. Oh, by the way, I did realize I do own MTG Duels. Either it was a free-to-play game or I bought it at some point, so if I wanted to, I could go back and show it off. I don't know if that game is actually going to get shut down at any point, though. So let's do Forest Might here. Let's go back to green, and let's see what we can figure out as far as green cards. And I think what I do is I often look at like these cards first and make the mistake that I should start with a starter set on these cards, when in all honesty I'm probably not being as wise as I should be. Where's the wheel? That's the only thing I want to throw in right now. I don't even see it. It's probably... I know I don't have the spinning wheel in this deck. So why do I not see the animation? Here it is. There it is. So I'm gonna just want to put those in, and then let's look at our green cards and think about what we're gonna do. Activate abilities of creatures or cast creature spells. So if I was to use this one card, which is in my deck, it really would only be for a really expensive character. This one creates food tokens. I think the food tokens are probably what the green has to be. But there is question. There's a questionable question about how much of the food tokens can really play, or with the level of cards, which has been a while. Let's see. This would open the gates, probably not useful. Yeah, I can't see a reason why you'd ever want that instead of just having one more basic card, basic green in your deck. Let's see. If we are just looking for food tokens, we can certainly do that. But I don't know if there's a real synergy between the food tokens. I've heard speculation that what is going to happen is we will in the next expansion see more cards interact with the food tokens, but that doesn't seem like that really would be that useful, because they've already banned cards that synergized a lot around the tokens. Anyways, so destroy. Yeah, that's probably not a great card there. I've seen people use this. Scry. Scry, scry, scry. We could scry like crazy to draw cards. But what are we looking for specifically if we're gonna scry? Because here's some more scry cards. This is not a bad card. Is this a terrible card? It's probably not too bad either. Just, what are we trying to do though? Like, draw cards? Or make food tokens? That's not bad. Again, sorry if all these videos are really just me looking at card learning, but that's really what it's gonna be for a while. Quite a while, actually. Once in future. Turn a target card from your graveyard to your hand. Put up to one of the other target cards from your graveyard on top of the library. Exile once in future. Add a mint if at least 3 green mana was spent to cast a spell. Instead, return those cards to your hand and exile once in future. Oh. I don't know what the strategy there is. I don't know what the strategy on any of this is, really. There's just not enough cards that use the food tokens. Like, alright, that's one card that actually uses the food tokens. Yeah, all these others still don't really make sense. Okay, Feasting Troll King. He's the only thing that seems to synergize around food tokens that I have. Let's see. Or creature tokens, food tokens. Number of lands you can control, which would be really low, not that high at least. Yeah, and that's pretty much it at that point. Yeah, there's no other pure green cards in my collection. I would have to make some kind of synergy with some other color. And I probably am just by far the weakest at playing green. Like, why is that hover not wanting to pop up? Yeah. I feel like in particular green is my weak spot, so I should probably see what I can do with like a green black, which is I think my strong suit, and see what kind of combination we could do there. There are some cards that deal with cards in your graveyard. You could probably make a decent green black deck centered around that concept, but yeah, green white kind of doesn't make sense, other than unless you're just gonna try and augment a standard white deck which has a bunch of 1/1 buff tokens cards and health recovery. Part of the problem with these dual color ideas in particular is that they don't really make any single monocolor concept feel unique enough. It kind of feels like you just end up going back to the same thing over and over again. Like if I'm playing really good with black and I make everything else a dual color with black, I guess that allows more people to play their favorite color without completely ignoring the other mana color types, but it is still weird. Alright. So that's green. Let's see what we could do. What do we want to do? To start with, we can probably get rid of the dual colors. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Green would put more things on him. The beauty of spinning wheels is you can play something like this as long as you have one spinning wheel a lot better. Although I don't know why these aren't lower in the ground. So let's go ahead and get rid of these and these and 22 plus 26. It may not be right. Let's see. That's not what I particularly wanted to do, although that would be kind of helpful. 37 creatures, 15 instant sorceries, 9 enchantments, 19 lands. Probably need more lands. This is good. This is probably not that useful. Let's get rid of that. That's probably not that useful. Let's get rid of that. A 1/3 for 2 mana. 5 damage with a target creature. Creates a food. Let's get rid of that. Vigilance doesn't synergize with what we're doing. 5/5 if you sacrifice a food. This turns creatures into a 3/3 and loses all of its abilities. I don't particularly like that. So we have all these draw cards, and then we really don't have anything that synergizes with something when you draw. Which probably means we shouldn't have that on the field. That's not bad. That's not bad. So this destroys a target or enchantment, artifact or enchantment, and gains 3 lives. Where this one just lets you do that, and that's 2 mana, where this is 3 mana. Probably don't need both, so I'm going to get rid of that. Return something from the graveyard to your hand. Okay. Add 1 mana of any color for 3 and tap and add 1 mana of any color. Interesting. This is a 4 mana for 4/4. That's not bad. Want to experiment with this one. That puts a counter. This would put a counter. This puts a counter. We're not really playing towards that. And 6 mana for an 8/8. Maybe. Maybe all the food is just a way of staying alive. Maybe that's it. At least maybe that's the concept. 7 for Beanstalk or Giant. This would make him a 7/7 minimum. But actually he's not that useful, particularly if I'm going to play Spinning Wheel and Heraldic Banner, because that means I'll have less mana on the field. So we still have like 17 cards we need to get rid of. So I want to experiment with this one. So let's get rid of these. And all of these, because there's no synergy there. And all of these, because there's no synergy there. There's kind of nothing special about that, so get rid of that one. That leaves me with 5 more things to get rid of. Get rid of that. 3 with more mana. Need 4 gone. 1, 2, 3 on that part. And 1 there. Okay. So that might be a problem. And I might as well play ranked. Apologies it takes that long, but yeah, it really does. And the good news is, fingers crossed, the network will work perfectly fine, so we won't run into too much problem covering the news. There's not like there's a ton of news. Things that really didn't happen over Black Friday and Thanksgiving and all, but there's been a little bit of things happening, a little bit of news. And certainly I spent a lot more than I probably should have. Like on Black Friday, and there's still a couple of sales. I still haven't bought the Steam games and such, but yeah. Yeah, they say the average American last year spent like $800 on Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I can certainly see it. I ran into a lot of crazy things that were on sale. I was not expecting Adafruit to have a Black Friday sale. I don't recall that happening last year. Maybe I was just not paying enough attention. And I had kind of a list of about $100 worth of stuff that I was going to buy from Adafruit, which of electronics for just future projects. And yeah, I ran into more of those kind of electrical things than I thought I was going to have. I was able to buy the Retro Pi Game Boy case for the Raspberry Pi Zero on a lightning deal, which is a decent thing. Almost certainly too, though, that case is going to get a revision too, in which they put a rechargeable battery in the backside. Interesting. Not sure this card is actually good. Let's see. I gotta remember to actually play now that we're not having network issues. A little bit more. So yeah, a lot of Amazon.com things on sale. While I was following Slick Deals and getting a lot of Slick Deals notifications, seems like Amazon.com did manage to beat the prices on everybody else for the things I was looking for. Maybe there's maybe there were some sales that I'm missing out on, but I don't think so. A lot of before Black Friday, the week before Black Friday was the Lego store Black Friday sale, and so spent a bunch of money on Legos, but kind of knew that. I really wish a lot of these sales would happen at different points. If there was a big annual sale for Legos, like around the 4th, 5th, or 6th month, even the 8th or 9th month, instead of the 11th month of the year, that'd be great. If there was an electronic sales throughout the year, that would be great too. But then Black Friday also is just kind of a good excuse to spend money. It's like if you've, and I feel like this is probably what happens to a lot of people too, is that they spend the absolute bare minimal, absolutely nothing on themselves or others throughout the rest of the year, because they're trying to recover from what they spent on Christmas season, and then the Christmas season rolls around again, and they either want to buy something that they don't really need, or they actually need to buy things, and so the cycle starts again. Alright, so did I lose there because I played poorly? I shouldn't play ranked, actually. Come to think of it, I should. We're in the experimental point here, so we should be experimenting with this on regular play. And yeah, since most of what I bought was electronics, gadgets, a lot of it are for projects that I'm going to start to try to finish before next year. So there are more wants than needs, for sure. But I can't really argue that the Adafruit sale on Black Friday was a bad deal by any means, because that is such uniquely. It is such a uniquely niche product line that it's not like you're ever really going to get a discount for most of the other times. I can't really do anything here, because if I cast this, all I would do is get mana of a different color, which is kind of useless. So this character is only kind of useful when you have 3 mana on the field. Now we have to discard a card. So I'll go ahead and discard one of those. Put that on the field. And then next. I feel like you pretty much have to abandon anything here. And just focus on having things on the field. Like, I think that kind of is where this boils down to, is you just have to have a bunch of 1 mana creatures that maybe flood your graveyard with that. This might very well be like the Druid in Hearthstone, where you just need to constantly have something on the field. There we go. So take this action, search for a basic land, of which these are the only valid ones. Play that, and then we should be good. So that doesn't seem like that's a bad card. Yeah, I can't really say I've regretted anything I've bought so far. It's just, it stacks up. Like, it was always going to be a lot of money, but it can be certainly shocking how much money you spend. So, I can say with some certainty, one of the things I hate about Magic Arena is when you have a card that you just aren't going to activate ever, and there's like no way to just pass that card and say, I'm not going to activate this, don't ask me to activate this card. I guess maybe there's a way to cheat this somewhat. Right, you can only put this on basic lands. Right. So this is going to be useless. So Gift of Paradise doesn't particularly synergize with Heraldric Banner, which might make an argument against having so many spinning wheels in the deck. Yeah, mostly I bought equipment from Adafruit in a project that is going to be a very low power usage e-ink screen that updates with information via the internet. And I'm gonna have to throw some bells and whistles into it and think about the UI and stuff like that. Alright. Fights one character that you don't control. Alright. Nope. No attacks in the turn. Let's see. Gameplay. Hold full control. Pass until response. Enter. Pass turn. Alright, so let's see what enter does. Alright. can't be blocked. Has +1/+1. Just go ahead and attack. See, I really think, yeah, if you just have creatures on the field, you're kind of doing the right thing with green. I think green is probably the simplistic way to play. And then take control of the guy. That's a pain. Finally get that on the field. So somehow I have like a victory here, or at least close to a victory, that I really didn't deserve. But yeah, I think all of these food token concepts just need to be tossed. I don't think they're gonna work. So, as dumb as it's gonna sound, I need to do another deck rebuild. And how can I avoid doing another deck rebuild? Well, what we can do is let's just switch over to this, go over here and play black. Sorry if you hate black, but I mean, that's really the best deck I have, and we're just trying to get up in ranked, and we want the rank to work. And fingers crossed we won't be running into any more issues there. Now there are a couple of ports that Magic's customer service says should be open for Magic Arena. They weren't open and it was working just fine before, but whatever. I opened them up. I don't know if that really affected anything, but we'll see. So let's start thinking about covering the news, and we'll see. Do I want to kill any blockos? No. Okay. This. No, what's funny is Amazon.com started as a destroyer of bookstores digitally, and now their big Black Friday sales and really any sales whatsoever has nothing to do with books. Like, very few books I saw were even available for sale. And their integrated services, I think you could also very easily say, are not really being pushed around Black Friday and Cyber Monday in any way. They're there, but there was barely any kind of savings at all to buy an Amazon Prime account as a gift to somebody else. We want to do no blocks this turn. The main problem with this deck is it's still a little bit it's a little bit too I don't know what the right word is. A little bit too low on mana. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Sometimes just so you can get into some bad positions. Which in a funny way kind of means you just need more mana in your decks. Even higher than the 24, 26 lands that they say you should have. I would almost argue that they are intentionally putting out that they intentionally put out the put out land in such a way as it makes it kind of it speeds up the gameplay. Like, if you were to get rid of land and adopt something like Hearthstone, where you just had a land deck full of land, and once per turn you turned over one of those cards and played that way, you would never run into a scenario really where players get into deadlocks or fail. And then the games would kind of go a little bit longer probably, but it also not just end up in some BS endings like this where I've just been stuck at the third step and unable to curve up past the third step until this point. Meanwhile, this one guy will do 5 damage to me. And I can't do anything about it because I don't have any flying creatures. And next turn I either kill this guy So what tweak can we make to this deck what can go away to enter a couple more characters? Let's get rid of that one because he's not super useful. That works. So one of the key phrases is a concept called hate, and this card has hate for greens, and greens in particular that give +1/+1 counters. And the concept of hate is that it's a card specifically designed to make it so that you can stop somebody from doing the thing that they that is their main goal. Ball of Citadel. 2 of those on the field would be nice. So tiny little tweaks there, but that's really all it gets down to until I can find a card that is just so obviously better that it's a apples to apples comparison. For instance, the card that had hate there probably could be removed from my current deck since it doesn't really synergize with anything. It's just a counter strategy against other people. And my other problem may just be that I'm not mulliganing enough. Like, that might be the case. I have been mostly keeping the one card. the first draw in the hopes that I can have one more card in my hand, but it's pretty obvious that that's not that useful tactically. Like, having mana on the field so you can play the cards in your hand is way more valuable than it is in Hearthstone, again, because in Hearthstone you're guaranteed that increase, whereas here you are not. Let's see. Yeah, I can already see the beginning of the end, but I want to somehow make through recordings because I'm actually a little bit awake today, you know, due to circumstances such as being, well, I don't know, the best way to say it is I kind of woke up around 8 or 9, was getting a little sleepy, said, alright, this is a perfect time to go to sleep, took a sleeping pill, and it seemed like it kind of worked last night, where often it doesn't really work. By the way, I will also mention Duplicati 2.0. I'm abandoning that backup software. It hasn't worked once. Like, I don't know if it is a factor of me misconfiguring my Nextcloud server or them just not properly configuring their own software, but it just doesn't work. It just doesn't. Meanwhile, I also, because the month ran around, I had scheduled a system check for my server's hard drives, and that's going forever. I need to replace the drives that are messed up because they're the same drives that were messed up before. So this is kind of pretty obvious to me that there is at least one one of the hard drives is just needs to be removed, and that should theoretically drastically speed up things and not have it so it is in less than a month's time having errors again. Yeah. And drastically speeding up the access time would be better for a backup solution. So my solution is to maybe once a month use the Duplicati version 1 point whatever, the old version, for a full system backup, but to more focus in general around generally speaking, I'm going to just more focus around the Nextcloud app itself and synchronizing the file history folder. So Windows 10's file history folder will just synchronize on a daily basis, and then the Nextcloud server will, at its own leisure, synchronize those files over. Which hopefully that will work. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. Okay. Yep. But it is, going that route is kind of an admission that Windows 10 has just, what they were saying is pretty much true, is that a full backup is no longer viable to do these days because it is just asking too much of the network. It takes too long to back up what seems to be about 3.5 terabytes of data. Let's see. No, let's. Well, yes, do that, and then do that. If I can just get him a little bit lower down in health, I could play this and kill all 3 of my guys, and then that would do 3 damage. That's how you can often win with this deck. And even if you can't win that way, it would reduce him down quite a bit. Now he's up to 70, so that's a problem. Okay. Okay. Attack here, and attack here. Yeah, I don't think he has enough to kill this guy. I mean, he might be able to, but not really. Now we're starting to buff up. This is taking a little bit it's taking a little bit longer than normally would to win, but okay. Right. This one can do 5 damage without, we've already won. So you do this, you do this. You attack with everything, you won the game. Just that simple. Thank goodness I fixed my network too, because the Destiny Child Ragnarok, or whatever it's called, that's going on right now, has given me a ridiculous amount of energy. And you're supposed to use up all that energy, and if you're not able to connect to the network to get the game to play itself, you're not going to use up that energy. Let's see, I started early, so we're already this starts I think on Sunday, so yeah, we're already close to getting all of the victories for this entire week. Notice it's been an hour now. We haven't had a single instance of it having trouble finding a person and connecting to them and connecting to a game. That I have to attribute all falls down on Cloudflare's DNS servers just being hit hard. But in all fairness, I wouldn't have even noticed the problem if it weren't for all of the traffic. And there is this danger, I suppose, that there is a future where I heard Europe just ran out of IP addresses. So if we just run out of internet network connections as more and more people come online, if people stop spending the money to upgrade it and get faster speeds and such, it could be an issue, certainly. There isn't a theoretical infinite amount of networking we can do. Even if they were able to get what I assume would be the ultimate upgrade as far as I apparently cannot block that guy. I could kill this guy. Why is this guy unblockable? Oh, he's not attacking. So we want to just do no block this turn, I guess. Like, even if they got to quantum entanglement connections where the actual wiring itself is not an issue, I feel like we still probably would run into maximum amounts of energy that we could use to connect to things, and maximum amounts of CPUs to run the routers that are going to be problems. Now the good news is we, as a human race, may die out before we see any of that happen due to other reasons, or if the population right now even suddenly severely reduced, the internet would be rather fast, depending if the part of the population that was reduced actually used the internet before. That is crazy. Whatever they're doing is definitely crazy. Black. And I'm gonna go ahead and do this. And hopefully that was the right move. Meanwhile, we have a game on here. We're gonna basically cover one game. We have a game called Insect Simulator on Steam. Looks like it's pretty much just an asset flip game. Just a low effort asset flip. Early access. $13.99, third-party EULA, full audio in English only. It says, yep, same old stuff, same old garbage. Speaking of same old garbage, we have a blog here from Gamasutra. Why Steam's discoverability improvements still may mean your game won't sell, which, no doubt, there's always going to be people out there who try and say that Steam sucks and it's bad for the developers, and they've got this vested interest in a vested narrative, and those people are never going to be happy. There's very little you can do with those people, and yeah, they're going to put out naysaying articles. And see, I'll try and scroll through here if he has any kind of valid argument. The conclusion here in the article, after a small number of paragraphs, is titled "Conclusion: Do/don't blame the platform." Let's see. P.S. If you don't think Valve should take a 30% of your revenue if you publish on Steam, but that's... I don't think Valve should take 30% cut of your revenue. 30% is industry standard. It's industry standard. It's what everybody else is doing, and yet only people complain about it on Steam. Now, if you want to make the argument Steam doesn't do enough to deserve the 30% cut, alright, I'd be willing to hear that argument, but that's not really what we ever get. We get just kind of whiny complaining, like entitled statements on Gamasutra because it's the game devs. And in a stupid way, almost certainly what's going on when you see these articles is it's either an indie developer who was never going to succeed anyways because their game just isn't good to not sugarcoat it. Or it's a developer inside of a major AAA publisher who is pushing this narrative that the developers are getting can't be paid more because of Steam's 30% cut. When in actuality, if a publisher is still getting 70% of the income, it's really the upper management that's taking all the money. If anything, the push or concept for smaller video game companies should be sounded a lot more, or at least on equal amounts of times, as the push to stop using Steam because Steam doesn't get your game sold. So, like, I'll fully admit, yeah, Steam is a storefront that basically has no advertisement whatsoever past its front page. It doesn't try to promote anything else or cross promote very much at all. Amazon, in a lot of ways, is the same way, though. And a lot of people go to Amazon and then immediately type in the search bar at the top and don't even scroll down to the front page. I couldn't even tell you what's on the Amazon front page. I don't look at it. When you get to an actual product on Amazon, there are better and a lot more ads pointing towards other things than what is on Steam. And in all fairness, when you get search results from Amazon's search bar, you get a better return there. So, yeah, Steam isn't doing great as far as a storefront, but it's not doing terrible either. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. We got a couple of victories, and we covered a couple of just a small amount of news, and then we're going to kind of do the same in the next recording. And I don't know, we might end up just having an hour at the end, a third recording in which there really is no news to talk about and there really is nothing to say or do. So we'll just play good old-fashioned Magic and in almost silence. We'll see what happens. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can still friend me on Steam right now and gift me a game off my wishlist, or just gift me a gift card. The Steam sale is still going on, so that is something to consider. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.